Hi guys, I am live and it's 4 p.m. on the dot. I am on time and I gave you an hour's warning. I'm doing better. So I'm popping on. I'll give you a few minutes to join and get the notification that I've gone live. I hope you're all well. I've got a drink here. I'm prepared. Everything is going well. Fingers crossed. I've set my phone to do not disturb. So I should make sure I am in the right place. Hello, Jessica. How are you? I have got so many tabs open on my computer. It's not funny. I'm planning a trip away to Hobart, which is our capital city here in Tasmania. Hey, Christina. Hello, Kathleen. I'm planning a trip away and trying to decide whether going to Bruny Island is a good idea. So I've got a million tabs open with different things. And I'm trying to find the right one. So I'm hoping I will be able to see your comments. It's Facebook is being a little pain. Hello, Renee. Hey, Marlene. So I'm going to take a sip of my drink and I've got naughty cordial. I'm not a cordial person. Oh, thanks about the hair. I went bright red. My scalp didn't like it though. Hello, Mayaswari. I'm good. I'm getting back on the wagon, back into crafting. You do not want to know. I seriously stayed up until 4:30 this morning. My house was too quiet. My husband and my son were not here, and so I couldn't sleep. It was too quiet. I don't know if any of you experienced that, but I stayed up, I watched a movie, and I was crafting. Hello, Heidi. So I didn't get any sleep last night, and I thought, you know what, why not? I'll craft away. And then I thought, I need to come and share with you. So I do have something exciting to share with all my lovely followers, and that is that I'm going to be doing weekly Facebook Lives, but not just weekly. They're going to be 3 times a week. So I'm going to focus on a different stamp set or stamp sets every week. And I'm really excited because it's new and exciting for me. And I have promised you guys that I would be doing more Facebook Lives. And that's going to be starting this week. So we're on Monday today and I'm going to do one on Monday. So I'm aiming to do Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. And then if I am due to be away, I will do a pre-recorded video, which I will have on the page on those dates anyway. So the really exciting thing is, one, I'm bringing you more Facebook Lives. Hello, Vicky. Hi, Heather. So I will have regular Facebook Lives, but also as my customers and lovely followers, you can actually earn the make and take packets for free by ordering with me. So I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of the week's cards that I'm going to be making this week, and we're focusing on 2 different stamp sets. I might just have to flip this, and this is the bit where things go awry with my bad camera skills, so hopefully it'll work. I never do this bit right, ever. Hello, Shelley. So these are the 2 stamp sets that I'm going to be focusing on this week, and I did get these stamp sets when we had our stamp sale, flash sale. And then I fell in love. So these are stamp sets that didn't grab me when I first saw the catalogue. And that was Basket of Blooms, which coordinates with, it doesn't come as a bundle, but it actually coordinates with a punch that was in our celebration from earlier this year. And that's the Thoughtful Blooms punch, I believe it's called. But I'm not going to be using that. I am using the Basket of Blooms, and this has no sentiments, but when I looked at this stamp set, I thought, you know what? I'm so obsessed with plants at the moment that I thought I could really focus on the greenery, and that's what I've done on my cards. There is one with flowers, don't worry. And then I've also brought in a stamp set that was also in the sale, and that's the Walk in the Woods. Now, I haven't used the imagery from this stamp set. I have simply used the sentiments. However, you could swap this out with any sentiment stamp set that you have. I just absolutely loved the stamp sets in this one. They were so beautiful. The words were beautiful. I'm a words girl, so I love a good sentiment. So they're the 2 stamp sets. I haven't really used any dies. I have used an embossing folder, and that's the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, which is this one just here, if you can see the pattern. Very basic. The make and take packets will have that done for you. So what I might do is flip the camera around and show you what we're going to be making and talk to you a bit about how I'll be running my new Facebook Live videos. So you can see in the comments I've included a little bit of information, but basically for those that are interested, you'll be able to get the make and take packets. So that's these ones. And they're all packaged, ready to go. Everything's pre-cut. They include envelopes, all the embellishments, and bits and bobs that you will need to create all these cards, and you simply have to place a $30 order or more in my store to get these free, and I'll mail them out to you. Obviously that's Australia only, and then if you spend $50 and use the host code, you also get my monthly customer gifts, which is this month the Rainbow Glimmer Paper. Isn't this stuff gorgeous? I love it. It's like ombre, it's rainbows, it's everything. I should get my hair this color, shouldn't I? Just go rainbow ombre, hey? So when you see me on a live video with this in my hair, be like, oh my goodness, Kayla. I won't lie, I went to my hairdresser and he's amazing. I've got the most awesome hairdresser, and he goes, what do you want today? I said, I don't know, it's up to you. Set me on fire. So he did. So I had bright red hair. I was in the mood for a change. So that's, if you spend $50 or more, you're going to get the glimmer paper and all the make and take packets for free this week. This glimmer paper is month long, so throughout the whole month, any order over $50 will receive this. This week, any order over 30 will receive these. So if you bump your order up to 50, you'll get both. And then next week, I'll have some more make and take packets available. So the bonus for you guys on my Facebook page is you guys will still get to see all the videos and how to make these. The bonus for ordering is that you'll get the make and take packets, because I know that I chuck the whole craft room on my cards. I'm aware of it. So I thought, you know what, if I do make and take packets, those that want to can get the make and take packets and not have to buy all the bits and bobs that I use on my cards, because all of the embellishments and bits and pieces will all be included. So I've cut all of those to size, and I'm picking up the wrong one. So I've included things like the gold hoops, the ribbons, there's wooden embellishments and little pearls and things. There's vellum doilies in this one, and there's some playful dots, there's some linen thread. I've got my favourite gold thread, and I have pre-embossed this sheet. So as part of the, hello Lisa, hey Skip. So part of Stampin' Up's policy is that we cannot include stamped images. So the only thing that I do have to say is that I have included everything apart from the stamped images. So to complete the cards, you could also, if you've got a similar stamp set at home, you could use that. Although I would recommend purchasing the stamp set that I've used. However, I would definitely say you do not need to have these sentiments. You could use whatever ones you want. However, these are gorgeous, and we've got a lot of gorgeous sentiment sets in our catalogue. And these could make up your $30 or $50 order. So, hey, Donna. Look, Donna. So Donna is the lovely friend that left this at my doorstep. It's on my craft table. It's so beautiful. I need to properly stick him in the pot and stuff, but oh, so cute. I'm going to come up with a name for him. So, yeah. Now, so let's flip you around and I'll show you my crazy desk. I have wiped it down, don't worry. There was stuff everywhere last night. I was Netflixing, I was crafting, I had the whole thing going last night. Hello, Cheryl, how are you? Thanks for popping by. So today I'm sharing what I am getting up to with my new Facebook Lives and how I'm going to be doing them a lot more often. So I'm going to be doing 3 times a week a Facebook Live, and if I am otherwise preoccupied or away, because I am going to be away for, it's my first wedding anniversary in a couple of weeks, which is a bit crazy how a year flies by. So I will be away for little bits and pieces of that. So I will aim to have my videos pre-recorded for you all. So let's have a look. Hopefully I can see the comments okay. I always hate, hello Liz, hello Carolyn. I always hate flipping the camera because I can't see the comments, but hopefully, sorry, I'm going to get messages up because I've turned the notifications off my phone. I'm going to get them on my laptop now. Right, I'll check and see if that's going to keep me updated with comments. If not, I'll check back in. So if you missed the start of the video, this is my new make and take paper special, but you know, make and take packets. So I'm going to do 3 times a week a Facebook Live, and you'll be able to get the make and take packets to make them at home. You just need to have the stamp set that I'm featuring for the week. All 3 of these cards use these 2 stamp sets. So this is the Walk in the Woods and the Basket of Blooms. And then we'll make 3 cards. If you spend over $30 in my store, you'll get these free. Make sure you use the host code, and I've popped that in the comments. But the host code, if you can't see it, is FK9Y7PJU. Then if you spend $50, you'll also get the Rainbow Glimmer Paper for free. So lots of goodies, and also you get my Stampin' Society October tutorial free. So pretty cool, lots of freebies. Hello, lovely. So today we're going to do some live crafting, and I'm going to share the first of the 3 cards. We're going to do some watercolour. So this is the first one, and I seriously went greens. I love everything green. Green and blue are my go-tos. And I wanted to create this card with you guys. So my first initial inspiration for this stamp set was this beautiful pot, and I wanted to put heaps of greenery coming out of it. So the 3 cards were based on each of the baskets and the pots, and I created this one first off. So we're going to create that one, and then on Wednesday we'll create this one, and then on Friday we will create this one. So they're all a little bit different, but they all use the same stamp sets. So I thought it would show you about getting the versatility out of your stamp sets as well. So let's get started. I've showed you a little bit of that, and I'll do up some more images of this hopefully after I finish. There's still some light because we've had terrible weather. Don't know about you guys. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we'll open up one of the packets, and I'm going to put these to the side, otherwise I'm going to end up with a mess everywhere. Okie doke. Let's see. I'll just have to check in on comments every now and then. So we're going to first open our make and take packet. These make and take packets have everything you need, and also an envelope. Now I do decorate my envelopes, but that's completely up to you. You don't have to decorate them if you don't want to, but I love a good decorated envelope. I've included these little gems, but I plan on getting a better option for those when they're posted because they go everywhere. Okay, so let's get started. I'll keep this one in view if I can. I hope you can see it. I'm not too sure if you can or not. So this is our white card base, and this is all in Australian sizes, but I've got basically a top folding portrait card, and then I've also got my envelope, which I do not need, and then I've got a scrap piece of watercolour paper, so a fluid 100. I'm just going to put that to the side for a second. I've also got my crumb cake and a piece of Whisper White, a bit smaller for the inside, a piece of crumb cake, and a piece a bit smaller with some mint macaron, which has been embossed with a Tasteful Textile embossing folder. Now, please note my standard sizing for my layers is always 9.9 for my bigger piece by 14.4, and then it's 9.7 by 14.1. Sorry, that was 14.3, not 14.4. So it's basically 0.2 of a millimetre shorter when I go that. So I like nice thin layers, and that's the same for the inside. Then I've got a couple of scraps here. I'm a weirdo when I make cards, honestly. So I mix between using inches, so metric and imperial, and I get that that's really annoying, but that's just how I craft. So this is 1.5 inches by 14.1 this way, and we're going to put that on top of our piece here when that's done. And then I also have just a scrap of basic black and a small piece of our designer series paper, which I didn't mention is the beautiful Forever Greenery DSP that I absolutely love, and this is going to be used on all the cards. So the make and take packet will include all the pieces of this. Otherwise, there's a great DSP designer series paper sale at the moment, and you can get this for 15% off. So it's usually $22-ish, I think, and it's down to $17. I think it's roughly about that. I may have told you the complete wrong thing, but I can probably actually quickly check. just so I don't tell you the right thing. So you want to grab this while it's on sale because that's amazing. So it's usually $20, sorry, and it's down to $17. So you get $3 off at the moment. And then, so we've got those, and we've got a piece of the, what's this called? This is the Forever Greenery trim, and it comes in a 2-pack, and this is the gold stuff. It's one of my favourites. We've also got this mint macaron ribbon, which is the, I will just have a look. Probably should have this all written down. What I'm going to aim to do is do some basic supply lists, which will be on my blog, so you will know. So this is the Basket Weaver Metallic Ribbon Combo Pack, and I've just used the mint macaron, and we're going to do something pretty nifty with that. And then I've got just a smaller scrap of the Forever Greenery trim as well. And then these beautiful little nuggets are the Flowers for Every Season gems. These are the cutest, and they include like clear and green, I think they're just jade gems, and they are adorable. I love them to bits. I may have 3 packets because I hoard things that I love. So hello Anita, hello Serene. Yeah, so today we're making a card, and if you go back and watch the start, I explain how to get the make and take packets for this card and the rest of my week's cards for free. So let's get started. I'll put the scraps aside because we want to actually get started watercolouring. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to heat emboss all the pieces that we need. So I'm going to want a pot for my bits and bobs to go in, and I also want some greenery pieces. So I'm going to pull out all the greenery pieces. So I've got lots of leaves and gorgeous bits and bobs. So that's all the bits that I need from that stamp set. So I have been using stays on these. They do stain a little bit. I get that question lots, but that is completely fine. That's how they're meant to be. Now I'm going to use my Embossing Buddy, but this is not a product that we stock anymore. However, you don't have to do this step. It's not completely necessary, so don't worry if you don't have one of these. Otherwise, you can actually just use baby powder. Right, so I'm going to pull out my Versamark, an essential item if you're going to be doing any kind of heat embossing. Now, those that watch my videos lots will know that I heat emboss all the time. So if you watch my videos and want to follow along and craft along with me, I would suggest getting some embossing powder and a heat gun, because I am a shocker. I'm always heat embossing. I just love it so much that I can't stop myself. So now the hard thing when you are embossing is it's hard to see where you've stamped previously, so if you're embossing multiple images at once. So another technique that you can do, and I probably should have done with this one, is using your Stamparatus and lining all your stamps up. That way you're going to be able to know that you're not going to be stamping over the top of the previous image. However, just because for ease of time I don't really want to set it up, I'm just going to do some good old guessing work. And what I can do is add the powder, and that's going to enable me to kind of see where I have stamped. So I'm just going to pop these to the side. So I'm stamping multiple, so 2 each of the greenery, and I'll just need 1 of the pots. So I'll stamp 1 pot, and what I might do is just add the powder in between stamping. That way I know what space is already taken with my images. So I hope that you all got some crafting in on the weekend, because obviously it was World Card Making Day, which was a bit exciting. I did get some crafting, but I didn't get on, sadly, to share with you. But I am doing that now, and I'm sure you guys are all happy to know that I will be coming on a lot more regularly. So now Stampin' Up is my full-time job. I am going to make a lot more time for it. Now my medical stuff is slowing down. Still a bit hectic, but we'll get there. So then I'm just going to stamp a couple of my leaves as well. And I'm probably only going to use 2 of these on the outside of the card, but I also want to stamp 2 to potentially use on the inside. So as you can see, it doesn't take too long. It's just about stamping those multiples so you're all ready and set to colour. So I've got those all stamped. Now what I might do actually, while we've got the embossing powder out, because we're actually going to heat emboss our sentiment, is just do that now. So I'm going to use The World Needs More of What You Are. I just think that's the most adorable sentiment. I love giving just because, I call them just because cards. So they don't have, like, they're not a birthday or a particular reason. They're just sent to make someone smile. That's just my favourite thing to send. So I'm just going to do that beautiful sentiment, which I would send to pretty much all my friends. So I like to have these, oh goodness, don't do that. All these kind of cards on hand regularly. Now I like to give mine a bit of a flick sometimes. Helps to get any excess powder off. I think I sort of got too much off when I dropped it. Right. So then we're going to bring in our heat gun, which mine doesn't quite reach my desk, so I may have to go off screen just for a tip. But while I just wait for that to heat up, I actually want to bring some of my colours out that we're going to be using. So we're going to be using Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, Runny Apple Green, and some Just Jade. And maybe a touch of Soft Sea Foam. So as you can see, I'm really going to town with the greens. I love my greens. So I'm just going to heat emboss these images. It might just take me a tick because I like to, I wish I could show you, but I like to heat my images from underneath. And watercolour paper, our Fluid 100 paper, is a little bit thicker. So it will take a minute to go through the paper. Now, you're going to probably go done, Kayla, because obviously there are no dies that coordinate with these, so it does involve a little bit of fussy cutting, but I promise I will try and do it as quick as I can. Which is probably a good thing, because for the make and take kits I wouldn't be able to cut them out once they're stamped anyway. And it's good to just have a play with those stamps that don't necessarily have a coordinating bundle. They're just standalone stamps that have a lot of beauty to them. So I'm going to be highlighting lots of different ones. If you have a stamp set that you want me to highlight, I would love to see more done with. Yell out, let me know. I would love to know what you want to see. Send me a message or leave a comment here. I'd be happy to see what I can do. Obviously I don't own every stamp set in the catalogue. Pretty close, but slowly taking over the whole house. No, it's just a corner of the lounge room, but one day I'll have a studio maybe. We'll see. Okay, so I've embossed all of those ones, and now I'm just going to quickly heat up the sentiment. Which is only stamped on the basic black cardstock, so that will only take just a little minute. Who else loves heat embossing? Okay. Oh goodness. Press some weird button. Jessica, I will have to see if I can do that. Hello, Sandy. Hi, Betty and Brenda and Kathy. The little spoons are really handy. I got those from a local craft shop and I keep them in all my powders. Makes it really super handy dandy. Okay, so now I'm just going to move a few bits because I actually have a pretty big desk, but it's more so when I'm doing live videos. I feel like everything's got to be in the camera and it doesn't quite work. So I'll have to do, Jess, I'll have to do a card with those ones to show you. I might do that as like a bonus blog share because obviously you guys won't want to just see these two sets over and over again. So these are the pads that I'm using, and I'm going to bring out the smallest. Actually, I don't think that is the smallest. It's this one, I think. The smallest of our water painters. These are amazing, and if you don't have them, you need them. These are our brand new water painters. So we used to have aqua painters, but now we've changed to the water painters, and they come in 3 different sizes. Definitely recommend them. So these are the other two. which there's like a medium tip, and there's also this beautiful large tip. So these are really cool. They're really, goodness, I'm putting that in the wrong one. They're really quite cheap as well. I think they might be like $20 or less for the 3 of them. So really good. And you can just fill those up with water. Now, I'm just going to put a little piece of scrap paper to the side because I'm going to then be able to clean off my brushes. So these pads are our classic Stampin' pads. The really cool thing about these is if you give them a bit of a squeeze, you're going to have the ink pool in the lid, and that's what we're going to watercolour from. So I'm pretty sure most of these would have some pooled in the lid, as I have just done these cards recently. So I'm just going to open them up. Just Jade is one of our new ink colours. It's so pretty. So, right. Now, hopefully you can see. I might just zoom in a little bit. Heat embossing is amazing, isn't it? The only problem is I may have to move this along just a tad and hope that you can see, because I don't want you to be disadvantaged with what you can see. Okay, so what I like to do is, I've got this just to the side here. I just like to get my water started by gently squeezing my brush, and then I'm just going to apply some water. Actually, in saying that, I might do the pot first. So I'm just going to apply some water to my pot first, and then I'm going to add a bit of water to my pool party and just bring that in. Now, because I've heat embossed these onto some watercolour paper, the actual embossing is going to, one, hold the colour in and stop it from going outside the lines. I mean, obviously still you can get a bit adventurous and go outside the lines still, but it's going to help with that. And it's also going to resist. So it's not, you can colour right over those lines there on the pot and it's not going to matter. So I like to go in where there'd be darker edges and just kind of experiment, add a bit more darker places where you think there'd be some shading. So there's naturally some shading on this pot that you can see. So I like to add a bit more there and maybe a bit towards the corner. And I've already gone outside the lines, but as you can see, watercolour's not perfect, so that's fine. Now I'm going to go back in with some Coastal Cabana and just add a second colour in there. Now this looks better as it dries, so don't fret. A watercolour is all about experimenting, and you know, there's going to be a different result every time you do it. So I'm going to stop there with that one and just see how that goes, because I can come back in and blend it out a bit more or add a bit more colour or whatever after. Now I'm going to go in and do my little fern pieces. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to these, and I'm blind as a bat, so honestly half the time I struggle to see these things. Now this one, it's very hard to stay in the lines, especially with my vision at the moment, but I'll do my best. And as I said, goodness, I'm throwing things again. Watercolour does not have to be perfect. In fact, I quite embrace the imperfections when it comes to this kind of thing. I think it looks rather cute, so go for it. Don't be scared, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just adding a base layer of Granny Apple Green to my fern pieces. I've actually got, my craft desk is right near a window, but still sometimes I struggle. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with some Just Jade and just add some Just Jade colour, just lightly, to each leaf. You can go in and add just a little bit, just for some colour variation. Now that doesn't look like much, but just wait and see as it dries and we'll see how it goes. Hello Glenda, hello Amanda and Trudy. So I'm going to then add the water to my second. This is probably my favourite one, as in favourite image from the sets, this big greenery piece. So then I'm going to go in and add my Granny Apple Green again. I have been listening to Miranda Lambert all day. That's my crafting zone today. Do you guys all have music that helps you craft or things you listen to? Because my two things that get me in the creative zone are music and also essential oils. So I have a blend. I find that doTERRA Motivate is a great one. Also La Rev Love Story. I love that one too. So I have one of those usually going. Gets me in the zone. I sing my tunes. Well, you don't want to hear me sing, honestly. It's a bit of a disaster, but I can sing to myself. I reckon you'd be quickly leaving the video if I started singing. Okay. So there, we've got those ones done, and then I'm going to actually go in with some soft sea foam for these long stem ones. Now, as you can see, I'm really being quite rough with this, so I'm not trying to be perfect with it. Who has time for perfect, really? So I'm just mixing kind of all three green colours. Now I'm just adding a touch of Just Jade and some Granny Apple. And I'll do the same for this other one. I didn't wet that first, but that's alright. Soft sea foam is a colour that I don't actually use that often, and I need to use more of it, honestly. It's a beautiful colour, and the cardstock is so soft and subtle, and it looks great in the background, especially combined with some of our beautiful embossing folders, like the subtle and ones like that. Okay, now I might do our leaves, which is okay that my brush still has some left on it, because add some blue actually to my leaves, and then go in with the Granny Apple, some darker Granny Apple, and then I'll do that again for my other leaves, which I'm going to add. I've mixed the green into the Bermuda Bay. That's why I have this scrap here, so that I can actually clean off my brush, but I wasn't doing that so well. Okay, then we've just got two more images to go. So I'll just add some water. And then we might do these a bit more of a Just Jade base, because I feel like the Just Jade's getting a bit lost. So just remember, it's all about experimenting with this. Have a bit of fun, see what colours you have in your stash and see where you want it to take you, and see what happens, basically. Just remember, it's all about having fun. Now, as you can see, I'm totally going out of the lines. Now, what I like to do, I've got all my basic colours down. So I'm going to close up these ink pads firstly, because I don't want my desk to become a total disaster zone, which it always does when you've got open ink pads, especially when you've got white cardstock. If you've got a nice fresh piece of white cardstock, I feel like without fail, it's bound to happen. So I'll bring this up here a little bit. I'm actually going to grab my smoky slate, and I'm just going to push some of that into the ink pad. And what I like this for is to just bring in the tiniest bit of smoky slate, and then use this to define your edges, because that we've heat embossed these in white, it's hard with the watercolor paper to define the edges, and I find that we're going to fussy cut this out anyway. So if we add a little bit of the smoky slate, you're going to get a nice edge there, and it'll make them pop a little bit more. So you do not have to do this bit perfectly whatsoever, because just remember that we are going to fussy cut this. So just go in there and just go around. You've got that resisting from the heat embossing, so it's going to be fine. I'm just going to go around the edge of all of our images. So you can do this pretty quickly, because it's by no means, you don't need to be perfect at it. I really wish that Facebook would fix the fact that you cannot see comments easily. It's so annoying. Oh, you missed the start. Manda, I'm using the Basket of Blooms and the Walk in the Woods sets. So I'm using all the images from this one and the sentiments from this one. So you could replace the sentiments with something you have, but I'm definitely using this one. So now I'm just going around the edges of my images to define them before I will be cutting them out. So trust me, once I've cut out the images and done this bit, which is the bulk of the card, it'll come together quite quickly. So this is the bit that really makes the card, is this fun step where you can have fun. And you can get a whole sheet of watercolour paper and go to town and make a heap of these. Like, this is, like, yeah, these cards seem intense, but if you make them in bulk, you could make heaps of them. And I think that plants and greenery are so in right now. So these would make the coolest cards for all your plant-loving friends, aka Kayla. Because I've got plants overtaking my house and I love it. I love the plants everywhere. Okay, I think comments are starting to work for me again, hopefully. Because I hate having to get out of my chair to read my phone to read the comments. It's like, come on, Facebook. Okay. We have a really cool event coming up with Stampin' Up. So every once a year, but twice a year, we kind of get together and celebrate new products with Stampin' Up. So we will actually be getting a new catalogue in January, and in November, the Stampin' Up demonstrators are gathering together to celebrate and use and talk about and pre-order those new products. So I'm so excited. There's so many benefits to being a demonstrator. And last night, part of the reason I stayed up late was planning what I'm going to be doing with my team for that. So us sassy stampers are going to be getting together and talking about all things Stampin' Up and having a wow of a time. So you'll have to let me know if you're also attending on stage at home, because it will be amazing. I know, Sandy, it's so annoying. And every time you get used to Facebook or how it is or something, I swear they change it. And then I have to relearn it all. So it's a constant frustration, but I would never give up because I love spending my time with you guys. So I'm on my last leaf, I promise. So, right. There we go. So it doesn't look like much, but trust me. So this is my little pad to the side, which I'm brushing off and making sure when I change between colours that I'm cleaning that off. So if you missed the start of the video, don't forget that I'll be on Facebook 3 times this week. So again on Wednesday and again on Friday. And if you order $30 or more through my store and use the host code, which is listed in the video description, and you live in Australia, you'll get the 3 make and take packets free. Spend over $50 and use the host code, and you'll also get the Rainbow Glimmer Paper as well as the Stampin' Society October tutorial free. So pretty nifty. I'm going to enjoy coming and chatting with you guys a lot more and crafting. Now, this is the bit that takes a little bit more time, and that's that you've now got to fussy cut these images, but I think I fussy cut so much that this shouldn't take too long. So if you've got any questions, ask away, because I'm here, I'm chatty. So if you have anything you want to ask me at all, ask away. I would love to keep myself busy answering your questions. Yes, Sandy, I love watercolouring and it's so relaxing. Like, I was listening to my new music. I've started a new playlist, and I was watercolouring away and then realised it was 4:30 in the morning because I was kid and husband free, so whoops. But such is life. Right, so I've got all my pieces and now I'm just going to fussy cut them out. So I have a lot of questions about fussy cutting, and honestly, all I say time and time again is it's about moving the paper, not the scissors. So you want to move your paper and have the scissors curve around it, because then you're going to get a nicer, smoother edge. So and it also makes it a lot faster because you're not constantly snipping. Neat. It's a beautiful, it was raining so heavily last night and this morning, and now we've got this beautiful sunshine. It's typical spring here, but I went to hang my washing out and my backyard is flooded because where this house is built used to be wetlands. So whenever we get heavy rain, it floods. It's so annoying. Right, see, this comes together pretty quickly. And with those, if I hadn't have watercolored those smoky slate edges, it would be harder for me to see the edge of these images and fussy cut them out. So I think that is a really important step when you're heat embossing in white on a light coloured cardstock, like a white or a watercolour or your shimmery white paper. So it really does help. I feel like I'm just talking to myself. You're going to chat to me, girls. I'm making homemade chicken Kievs for dinner. Not chicken Kievs, chicken Kievs for dinner. So I'm looking forward to trying out a new recipe for those in my thermi. All about trying new recipes at the moment because I've got so much time on my hands, and so I'm trying to give new recipes and just being experimental in the kitchen a go. I'm going to make a South African recipe this fortnight called baboti. I could never say it. Anyway, that thing. The meat dish with the egg custard on top. I want to give that a go. So that's my little, what do they call it? Cuisine exploration dish. So something not so common here to eat, and I'm going to make it with the saffron rice and some chutney. So that will be fun to experiment. Hello, Missy. I know, perfect time to experiment in the kitchen. And I've got a new Thermomix, so I've been having fun playing with that and making all the homemade stuff. Having a wow of a time. Only issue is my hubby has really fussy taste buds, so he's the guy that likes his chicken palmy and chips, and I'm just like, let's have something a bit more exciting. So, but you know what? I'm not going to miss out, so I'm going to still bake and cook my weird tastes that I enjoy. Oh, thanks, Tammy. So I'm just fussy cutting out all these images that I've watercolored, and then they're all going to go in the pot and go on our fun card background, which hopefully you can see the card in frame because I did zoom in, so hopefully you can see. It comes together relatively quickly once you've got these pieces done. As I said, if you want to make multiples of this card, I would just heat emboss a whole page of foliage, watercolour them all, and sit in front of Netflix or the TV show, whatever you like, and fussy cut them all out. I actually love if I get like a DSP, so designer series paper or something, that has lots of good images to fussy cut. I will sit there in front of something I really want to watch, and I will fussy cut them because I enjoy fussy cutting. Some people find that weird, but I think it's fun, and I just have a great old time doing it, so I find it relaxing. There's all kinds of machines, and I mean, you can get bundles where you've got dyes that do it for you, if that's not your thing, or there's even machines that you can buy that will scan your images and cut them for you, but I just enjoy it. Yes, and it's relaxing, Tammy. Like, I think fussy cutting is so relaxing. It for me, if I'm overthinking and have got a massive to-do list, fussy cutting somehow just, because I've got to focus on what I'm cutting, it takes my mind elsewhere and lets me calm down a bit and just focus on what I'm doing. And I think that's so important in a busy, these busy lifestyles that we all have these days. Like, it's important to just stop and think and go, you know what, it's okay to just breathe for a second. I have been trying to focus a bit more on that recently with everything that's been going on in my life this year. And, you know, you can't climb Mount Everest every day, and sometimes you've just got to focus on the small things. So hopefully I can get better at doing that, because I'm the sort of person where I wake up in the morning and I'm already thinking about my to-do list for the next week. I'm terrible. And before I had work, so it wasn't as bad. It's funny how when you stop working, it gets worse. Because I've got too much thinking time is basically what it comes down to. Who has read or watched Jay Shetty? He is the Indian guy that used to be the monk, and he wrote a book, and it's just been released like literally 2-3 weeks ago. He has like meditation videos on YouTube, plus he's super sexy. Hello, Dom and Morgan. How are you watching my Facebook Live while camping? Righty-o, so I've almost finished, and then I promise I will put the card together, so you won't have to watch me fussy cutting a million images still. This is the last one. Was I quick at it, guys? Am I getting quicker? I am doing okay, Tammy. I've just got a few more tests to do, and it's just because COVID's delayed some of the resources available as far as testing and things. And so it's just a matter of waiting and just continuing on positive thoughts and stuff and whatnot. So we'll see how we go. I did have a bit of a seizure yesterday, but it wasn't too bad. It was manageable. So yeah, just keeping on. And I've got my craft to keep me focused and spending more time with you guys. Focusing on positives. Coming to waffle on while I fussy cut a million images with you. Hello, Vicky. Oh, thanks, Sandy. I think now I'm terrible. I just had this brainwash. Your card got there, didn't it? Oh, that's so exciting. How long did that take? Honestly, like 5 months. I sent Sandy a card and she lives in Canada, and it took like 5 months because of COVID and everything going on. Right, look at that. Mission done. I have watercoloured and fussy cut all those images. I'm just going to put all my mess in the bin, which seriously I have just emptied, and look, like I emptied it like 2 hours ago. So, okay. Now, what I might do so that I don't lose all my bits and bobs is I like to get my pot and then stick all the bits how I want them. I do have a tip for this actually, because I was doing it last night. Now that I remember where I put it. I'll do this in a sec, but you can have, if you've got some press and seal, I definitely recommend it, because when doing things like this, I like to literally stick everything in the pot for how I want it to go. So I'm going to arrange all my images in there. Stick a couple leaves out, like that. Happy with that? Then I'll grab some press and seal. This stuff is amazing, and the annoying thing is it's hard to buy here in Australia, but I think you can get it from Costco if you live near one of those, but I live in Tasmania and we don't have any shops. No, I haven't received your card, Sandy. It might take 5 months. So press and seal, you just literally stick it over the top. Now, this stuff was invented by Jennifer Maguire's husband, I think. Really cool. Just give it a good press in, but don't leave it on this for too long, because it will peel it off when you're going to put that back on. So I'm leaving 2 of these leaves for the inside, but what I'm going to do now is get some glue dot. I've got pain searing up my leg because I fell over. This is so random and off topic. I fell over in the backyard taking something out to the bin, and ever since then my ankle hurts a little bit, and I've got searing pain at my leg, and it gets worse the longer I sit, so I'm not sure. I'm just injury prone. Right, so I'm gonna, because these are sort of held into place when I flip that over, set the back one there, but I'll stick him down. I'm going to get my glue dots and just kind of poke where I lost a glue dot. There it went. You need to make sure they're actually stuck to your pokey tool first. And then I'm going to kind of lift and stick. So, poking in. And I just like to apply quite a few of the glue dots just so I know that it's well stuck down. Oh well, it'll come when it will come, and it will brighten my day regardless, Sandy. Okay. Now, just to make sure they definitely don't move, I'm just going to apply a little bit of tear and tape. And you know what? I've got that stuck down enough that when I peel this off, if one or two move, I'm not going to have to deal with rejoin the whole lot. There we go. Look at that. Super easy. Press and seal. You can use this multiple times until it runs out of its sticky. But I'm too lazy, so I'm chucking it in the bin. So don't ignore my advice there. Right, so I've got my little pot there. Now what I'm going to do now is bring my bits and bobs back in. Put these bits to the side. Now we want to start sticking some of our pieces down. So we can stick, I'll leave that there. We want to stick our piece of mint macaron, which we've embossed with our Tasteful Textiles. And then I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Seal Plus. You can use just the standard Stampin' Seal if you want. I've just run out of that one. And I'm just going to apply that to my background. And then I'm going to add this to my crumb cake. And then I'm going to stick my piece of Forever Greenery DSP down to the side of this as well. So this will go down over the mint macaron, down the side. And then what I want to do is add my ribbon. Now I've cut this a little bit longer than what you actually need, but I'm just going to probably cut it a little bit shorter. But this is something I love to do to my ribbon, and that's to stress my ribbon. So what I'm going to do is actually grab, this is a paper piercing tool, but I don't think we have this one available anymore, but you've got your take your pick tool, which is this one, so I probably should be using that one. I just am so used to using this one. And then I kind of want to start pulling the threads in the ribbon. So this actually then causes it to fray. Now you can, when you get hold of one of these threads, you can pull it and then pull this back down a little bit, and that will cause that to start to fall apart from the edges. So you're literally doing what we all hated our clothing to do, and that's to fray the edges. But I actually love the look of this on a card. So I am constantly, literally fraying my ribbon because I love the textured look of it. Sometimes these threads are really hard to pull, and other times you'll get the perfect one and then it will all just start to pull. So it just takes a little bit of patience is what I'm probably trying to get across. So then again, I'll start pulling at the threads, just poking it in until I get the right thread. There may be an easier way to do this, I'm not sure, but this is the way I've always done it. So you want to find those threads that are going to pull nice and easily. So there we go. Now you can tell I'm concentrating because I've actually shut up. Okay. So that's one end. We can always see this is all the bits that come out of it, and you could use that. That would actually look really cool. Now I've got an idea with that. So I'm going to make a messy pile on the side. So now I'm going to turn this over and just start doing the other side. So sometimes it starts to get a mind of its own. So just pull it back out and keep working at it. There we go. That one I got a good one because it's going to keep pulling now. So it's easier to do it from one side than the other, but I'm just going to cut that off because I probably don't want that to fray anymore now. So then once I've got that frayed, I can sit that. I'm going to add a little bit of the Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm literally just going to stick that over the top here. And this pot's going to go there. So what I might do now is, I don't want the video to go for hours, so I'm going to, hello, is it Rian and Kay? So I'm just going to add some Wink of Stella. So I like to add my Wink of Stella splats. If you're going to follow along and do Kayla cards, definitely grab yourself a Wink of Stella because I never stop using it. So then I'm going to also mount this up now. I like to, when I'm creating cards, if I know what I'm making, as soon as I've got a layer sort of done, I will mount it onto the card because I don't want to lose bits and bobs. So I'm just going to take my dimensional backings. I use a lot of dimensionals, I will admit. I'm always putting things on dimensions. I just looked at the time and I've been on here for almost an hour. Are you sick of my voice yet? This is because Kayla uses the whole craft room on her cards and decides to fray ribbons and watercolour and fussy cut. Okay, so I've mounted that onto the card. And then now I'm going to take my longer piece of the gold thread and I'm just going to wrap this around my fingers. Now I like to do 4 fingers. And then I'll go back and do 3 fingers so that this is actually kind of looped, whoops, if you don't drop it, looped at different sizes. So then what I like to do, and I find this works for me, but you may have an easier way, is I'll grab the loop and add a couple of glue dots to kind of hold that down together. And then I'll add my loops to the card like so, because when I'm going to place something over the top of it, that's also going to help to hold it in place. Then you can cut your tails if you need to, if they're hanging out too much. So then I'm going to stick my pot over the top with some dimensionals. I'm hoping that I'm still in frame enough. Oh, thanks Liz and Sandy. You guys are beautiful. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals. Almost used a whole sheet. Don't forget to use your edges and don't throw those out. Look at this, I've got mess everywhere. Do you love my messy desk? It didn't take long. I've got ringing in my ears. Who else hates that when you get a loud ringing sound in your ears? Okay. So I can stick my little basket of greenery down. And then what I might do before I finalise the, that little piece there is find where I placed my little, oh there it is, my little piece of Designer Series paper, which is cut to 3/4 of an inch by 9.7 centimetres, I should really say. And I'm just going to add this to the edge of my piece of Whisper White for the inside, and then I'm just going to add a tiny bit of Stampin' Seal, which I've realised that this is just hanging over the edge a little bit, so I'll just trim that down. Now the reason I added that tiny bit of Stampin' Seal, oops, I forgot a step, but that's okay, we'll go back to that, is I want to add some gold thread just where they meet, and I think that provides a nice finished look there as well. But then I actually want to tuck in, oops, maybe glue will help. Where's my glue gone? There it is. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of liquid glue to my leaves, which these were the ones we watercoloured that were left over, and because I've applied Stampin' Seal, not to the whole piece, I'm able to tuck it in underneath. So I'm just going to add a bit more. Oh, thanks Carol. Thanks, Glenda. I love decorating the inside, Sandy. I think I spend so much time on the outside that I really want to finish off the inside as well. Now I'm just going to be lazy and add some liquid glue to the inside of my card. So I'm just going to layer this onto the crumb cake. It feels weird because it's just turned daylight savings here where I live, so it's really light. That's why I thought I was surprised when I looked at the time, because it's so light outside. So now I'm just going, actually no, we want to stamp. Do we want to stamp on the inside? I think we did. Yes. But I'm going to add the thanks for being marvellous. So the world needs more of what you are. And then I'm going to add thanks for being marvellous. And I'm going to do that in some Memento black. So I'm just going to ink that up and then stamp these just off to the side of my leaves. Thanks for being so marvellous, which is something I would say to pretty much all my friends because they're all marvellous. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of Stampin' Seal and then place this on the inside. That way the inside's done and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Which is a bit crooked, Kayla. And I've used Stampin' Seal Plus, so you get to see Kayla fixing mistakes live. And I got a bit of ink smudgy, but that's okay because I've got my little sand eraser. So sometimes this works, which I think it will in this case. Okay, there we go. So then to finish the outside, I'm just going to get my sentiment and I'm going to just cut this one, which sometimes I'll grab my big long scissors. If it's, you can use your small paper trimmer, but if it's just for ease of time, I can grab my big long scissors. That way I can do one long skinny cut. So the world, I love to cut apart my sentiments. I don't know what you guys love to do. This one is a bit different because we're actually going to go around. Actually, no, we're not. We'll go another long skinny cut. Okay. So then I'm just going to trim these like so. Thanks, Renee. I hope you've all been enjoying today's card and Kayla actually being live again. So I will put events up on the page, but I will be live again on Wednesday and live again on Friday at roughly the same time, but I will get back to you on that. And hopefully with the event, you'll also be able to see what time that will be in your local time as well. So I'm just going to glue this sentiment down. A bit of glue for this piece, and then I'm going to place this one up on some dimensionals. Now I find for this, because I need sort of a skinnier piece, I'll use the dimensional edgings, which never throw those away because they're very handy. So I'm just going to stick that one up, and then because this one's going to go over the top of some pieces that have got a lot of texture, I'm actually going to use some glue dots for these. So 3 different adhesives to adhere one sentiment down. Gotta love it. Oops. Okay. So I've got that down. And then what I'm going to do is add our beautiful gems, which I've set up here somewhere. So these are the Flowers from Every Season gems, and I've just sat them all over my desk, so don't mind me for a second. And what I like to do when I add gems and things like that is I work in triangles. So I'm going to do a bit of a triangle fashion here, and then I'm actually also going to do a triangle of the clear ones up here. So this is when you take your pick tool, comes in very handy, because I want the sticky end of the take your pick. So this is like a gum that you can wind up and get more of, and there's replacements for this also sold. And what I'm going to do is use this, and I do find it handy to have another tool to help get them off. Don't mind me, I've got the shakes. Oops. So I'm just going to pick that up again and help that come off. And The longer you do leave the glue, if you have trouble with this, the more tacky it will become. So if you have trouble with this step, I recommend putting your glue out and leaving it a couple minutes. It will still be sticky, but it will help it become a little bit more tacky. So it will help you be able to have these, when you stick them down, come directly off and be tacked to that glue. So there we have it. Our fun cards. This is the first card of the week, using the fun baskets. Now I've forgotten the word. Baskets of Bloom stamp set and Walk in the Woods. So this was a really fun one to create. The other thing I did do with my envelope, and they're pretty much the same for every card, is I have used the coordinating DSP with the envelopes dies to create a fun envelope inside. And then I've used the greenery to also stamp a fern, which I don't know if you can tell, but I've actually coloured it with Wink of Stella, just for an added touch to make the envelope coordinated. So that's also an extra thing that you can do. So there's the inside of the card, the outside. I can probably zoom in a little so you can see a little better. So we've got the outside and the inside of the card, as well as the matching envelope. So I hope you got some tips out of today's video and enjoyed the live video. Don't forget that you can get all of these make and take packets for the whole week of live videos free when you place a $30 order or more in my store and use the host code. And if your order is $50 or more, you'll not only get these, but you'll also get a packet of the Rainbow Glimmer Paper, which I realise I'm zoomed in way too much for you to see that, and the Stampin' Society October tutorial for free. So all those goodies for you, for supporting my little business. Otherwise, enjoy the free tutorial, and I would love to see what you make. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you on Wednesday. Much love and crafty hugs. Bye.